The studio lights beamed brightly on the set of Loose Women, where the audience buzzed with anticipation for a special guest appearance by the legendary singer Cliff Richard. Known for his timeless hits and charming persona, Cliff had been invited to discuss his latest album and reflect on his illustrious career spanning over 6 decades. The panel, consisting of Denise Welch, Kay Adams, Nadia Sawalha, and Jane Moore, welcomed him with warm applause and smiles, starting off with light-hearted banter about his youthful looks and enduring popularity. Cliff, dressed in a sharp suit with his signature smile, shared anecdotes from his early days in the music industry, reminiscing about performing with icons like Elvis Presley and the Beatles. The conversation flowed smoothly at first, with the hosts complimenting his resilience through various controversies over the years. Denise, ever the outspoken one, interjected with a question about how he maintained his positive outlook despite public scrutiny, which Cliff answered gracefully, emphasizing faith and family support. However, as the segment progressed, the tone shifted subtly when the discussion turned to modern celebrity culture and the impact of social media on personal lives. Cliff expressed his views on privacy, stating that in his era, artists had more boundaries, unlike today's oversharing tendencies. Denise, drawing from her own experiences with mental health advocacy and tabloid battles, countered by saying that openness helps destigmatize issues, and perhaps older generations could learn from that. The exchange was polite initially, but underlying tensions began to simmer as Cliff defended traditional values, while Denise pushed for progressive transparency. The audience sensed the spark, murmuring softly, as the cameras captured every nuanced expression. Cliff elaborated on how invasive media had affected him personally, referencing past false allegations that nearly derailed his life, and how he fought to clear his name through legal means. Denise nodded but then challenged him on whether he truly empathized with victims in similar situations, suggesting that his privileged position might blind him to broader societal problems. This remark caught Cliff off guard, his smile fading slightly, but he responded calmly, asserting that empathy comes from experience, not assumptions. The back and forth intensified, with Kay trying to mediate by steering towards lighter topics like Cliff's favorite songs, but Denise persisted, sharing a personal story about her own struggles with depression and how public discourse saved her. Cliff listened, but his body language showed discomfort, crossing his arms as he disagreed, saying that not everything needs to be aired publicly. The panel dynamics shifted, with Nadia supporting Denise's point on vulnerability, while Jane sided more with Cliff's privacy stance. As minutes ticked by, the debate grew more heated, with raised voices overlapping, and the producer in the control room monitoring closely for any escalation. Cliff, feeling cornered, reiterated his belief in discretion, but Denise accused him of being out of touch with contemporary issues, her passion evident in her gestures. The audience gasped at key moments, adding to the electric atmosphere, as what started as a celebrity chat morphed into a philosophical clash of eras. By now, the segment had overrun its time slot, but the drama kept everyone glued, foreshadowing the explosive turn ahead. Cliff tried to lighten the mood with a joke about his age, but it fell flat amid the tension, leaving the panel in an awkward pause before the commercial break loomed. Returning from the break, the Loose Women panel attempted to reset the vibe, with Kay Adams thanking Cliff Richard for his honesty and suggesting they move on to fan questions submitted via social media. Cliff nodded appreciatively, sipping water to compose himself, while Denise Welch adjusted her notes, her expression still animated from the previous exchange. The first question was innocuous, asking about Cliff's secret to longevity in show business, to which he replied with humor about good genes and avoiding trends. Laughter rippled through the studio, easing the earlier strain momentarily. However, the next query delved deeper, inquiring about Cliff's thoughts on cancel culture and how it compares to the scandals he's faced. Cliff pondered, sharing that he's grateful for second chances and believes in forgiveness, but warned against hasty judgments online. Denise, seizing the moment, interjected passionately, arguing that cancel culture often holds powerful figures accountable where systems fail, citing examples from her advocacy work. Cliff countered by saying that false accusations can ruin lives irreversibly, drawing from his 2014 ordeal with police raids and media frenzy. The discussion heated up as Denise pressed on, questioning if Cliff's experience made him more sympathetic to movements like Me Too, or if he saw them as overreactions. Cliff, his voice rising slightly, defended that justice should be in courts, not public opinion, and accused the media of sensationalism. Denise fired back, her tone sharp, suggesting that celebrities like him benefit from platforms while dismissing others' pain. The other panelists chimed in. Nadia expressed solidarity with Denise on empowerment, while Jane urged balance, noting Cliff's proven innocence. The audience divided, some clapping for Cliff's poise, others nodding at Denise's fervor. Cliff elaborated on the emotional toll, describing sleepless nights and lost friendships, emphasizing that privacy invasions are traumatic. Denise shared her battles with addiction and relationships in the spotlight, insisting vulnerability builds connections. The clash deepened when Cliff implied that oversharing invites more scrutiny, which Denise took personally, retorting that hiding behind facades perpetuates stigma. Voices overlapped chaotically, with Kay calling for calm, but the energy escalated. Cliff's frustration showed in his clenched jaw, while Denise gestured emphatically, her words cutting through the noise. The producer signaled to wrap up, but the debate raged on, touching on generational divides in attitudes toward fame and mental health. Cliff accused Denise of twisting his words, and she responded by challenging his empathy again. The studio tension was palpable, with camera operators zooming in on facial reactions, capturing the raw emotion. As the argument circled, Cliff referenced historical figures who've been wrongly accused, while Denise brought up current events, making the exchange feel timeless yet timely. The audience's murmurs grew louder, some whispering about the unexpected drama unfolding. Liv Kay attempted humor to diffuse, joking about needing a referee, but it only highlighted the rift. By this point, the segment had transformed from promotional to confrontational, with Cliff defending his legacy fiercely against Denise's unyielding stance. The back and forth revealed deeper insights into both personalities, but also risked derailing the show's friendly ethos. As tempers flared, the inevitable boiling point approached, setting the stage for the shocking climax that would make headlines. The intensity on the Loose Women set each to fever pitch as Cliff Richard and Denise Welch's disagreement spiraled into a full-blown confrontation, with neither willing to back down. Kay Adams intervened more assertively, suggesting they agree to disagree and pivot to Cliff's music, but the damage was done. The air crackled with unresolved friction. Cliff, his composure cracking, expressed disappointment that what should have been a celebratory appearance turned interrogative, implying the panel ambushed him. Denise, undeterred, defended her right to ask tough questions, stating that Loose Women is about real talk, not fluff. This sparked Cliff to retort that real talk requires respect, accusing her of aggression. The audience gasped audibly, phones lighting up as viewers tweeted live reactions. Nadia tried bridging the gap by sharing a neutral story, but Denise doubled down, questioning Cliff's views on women's issues given his era's norms. Cliff, now visibly agitated, recounted his support for various charities, including those for abuse victims, to counter her implications. The exchange grew personal when Denise referenced Cliff's bachelor status and rumors over the years, suggesting he might not understand relational dynamics. Cliff shut that down firmly, calling it irrelevant and invasive, his voice booming across the studio. Jane Moore jumped in, criticizing Denise for crossing lines, but Denise argued it ties into authenticity discussions. The panel fractured, with overlapping shouts creating cacophony. Cliff stood up briefly, then sat back, frustration evident in his posture. The producer's voice in earpieces urged rapping, but the drama captivated everyone. Cliff elaborated on media persecution's long-term effects, his eyes welling slightly as he described feeling violated. Denise empathized but pivoted to how silence enables abusers, her passion stemming from personal advocacy. This clashed head-on with Cliff's plea for presumption of innocence. Voices rose, gestures wild, as Kay called for a timeout unsuccessfully. The audience divided into cheers and boos, amplifying the chaos. Cliff accused the show of bias toward sensationalism, while Denise called him defensive. The turning point came when Denise said, "If you can't handle the heat, maybe daytime TV isn't for you," which Cliff took as a dismissal. He responded sharply, "I've handled worse than this, but I won't be disrespected." The studio fell into stunned silence momentarily, before murmurs resumed. Other panelists attempted de-escalation, with Nadia offering apologies, but the rift widened. Cliff's anecdotes turned pointed, highlighting generational misunderstandings, while Denise cited statistics on mental health disclosures. The debate touched on broader themes like fame's evolution, privacy laws, and celebrity accountability, making it intellectually charged yet emotionally raw. As minutes stretched, the control room debated cutting to ads, but the live broadcast continued, capturing every heated word. Cliff's legendary calm eroded, revealing vulnerability, while Denise's fire showcased her unfiltered style. The confrontation exposed the clash between old-school decorum and modern candor, resonating with viewers at home. Ultimately, this paragraph of the script builds the suspense, detailing the verbal volleys that pushed boundaries, leading inexorably to the explosive resolution where boundaries shattered completely. In the midst of the escalating turmoil on Loose Women, Cliff Richard's patience finally snapped as Denise Welch's persistent probing hit a nerve too deep to ignore, transforming the debate into an outright explosive clash that shocked everyone present. Cliff, his face flushed with indignation, slammed his hand on the table lightly but emphatically, declaring, "This is not a fair discussion, it's an attack." Denise, equally fired up, leaned forward, retorting, "An attack? I'm just speaking truth to power as something your generation avoids." The audience erupted in a mix of applause and shocked whispers, phones recording the moment for social media frenzy. Kay Adams raised her hands desperately, yelling over the din, "Let's take a breath, everyone." But her words were drowned out by the intensifying argument. Nadia and Jane exchanged worried glances, with Jane murmuring support for Cliff, while Nadia tried to validate Denise's points without alienating the guest. Cliff elaborated on his life's trials, from early fame pressures to recent legal victories, insisting he deserved peace. Denise countered with tales of her own public vulnerabilities, arguing that hiding pain helps no one. The rapid-fire exchanges flew, Cliff on dignity, Denise on honesty, each accusation building on the last. Cliff accused Denise of bullying, which she denied vehemently, calling it passionate discourse. The studio lights seemed hotter, the atmosphere thicker, as sweat beaded on brows. Producers scrambled backstage, debating intervention, while the live feed captured the unscripted mayhem. Cliff stood up abruptly, microphone still attached, pacing slightly as he vented about feeling ambushed on what was promoted as a friendly chat. Denise stood too, gesturing wildly, "If you walk out, it proves my point about avoidance." The panel imploded, with overlapping shouts, Kay pleading for civility, Jane defending Cliff's right to leave, Nadia urging reconciliation. The audience's reactions amplified, some chanting Cliff's name, others cheering Denise's boldness. Cliff's voice cracked emotionally as he recounted the toll of past scandals, tears glistening, which Denise acknowledged but pressed on about broader accountability. This vulnerability clashed with her assertiveness, creating a poignant yet volatile scene. Technical crew adjusted cameras frantically, zooming on expressions of disbelief. The clash peaked when Cliff declared, "I've had enough of this disrespect," and began removing his mic pack. Denise's final jab, "Running away won't change the conversation," ignited the ultimate fury. Cliff turned sharply, words tumbling out in a torrent about media ethics and personal boundaries. The control room finally signaled for a forced break, but not before the damage was irreversible. Viewers at home watched in real-time horror and fascination, tweets exploding with hashtags like #CliffVs.Denise. The paragraph delves into the raw emotions, detailing every barbed word and physical cue that escalated the drama to its zenith, painting a vivid picture of television history in the making, where a simple interview devolved into unforgettable chaos that would dominate headlines for days. As the explosive clash on Loose Women reached its breaking point, Cliff Richard made the dramatic decision to remove his microphone and storm off the set, leaving the panel and audience in stunned silence amid the shocking TV drama. Denise Welch, still seated but visibly shaken, called after him, "Come back, let's talk it out." But Cliff waved dismissively, his strides purposeful toward the exit. Kay Adams quickly apologized to viewers. "We're experiencing some technical difficulty, so stay with us," as the camera panned awkwardly to the remaining hosts. Backstage, producers rushed to Cliff, offering water and assurances, but he politely declined, requesting his coat and a quick departure. The audience murmured in disbelief, some standing to applaud Cliff's exit, others debating the merits of the argument. On air, Denise expressed regret for the escalation but stood by her views. "I never meant to offend, but important topics deserve airtime." Nadia comforted her, while Jane lamented the loss of control. The show's social media exploded instantly, with clips going viral, fans divided as some praising Cliff's grace under fire, others lauding Denise's courage. Cliff, in the green room, composed himself, later issuing a statement via his manager about feeling disrespected but harboring no ill will. The episode's ratings skyrocketed, becoming the most watched in years due to the unscripted authenticity. Denise, post-show, reflected in interviews about the passion of live TV, admitting emotions ran high. The panel reconvened without Cliff, shifting to lighter segments, but the shadow of the incident loomed. Media outlets pounced, analyzing every moment, body language experts dissecting gestures, psychologists weighing in on conflict resolution. Cliff's fans rallied online, trending support hashtags, while Denise's advocates defended her advocacy style. The ITV executives reviewed footage, debating edits for repeats, but the raw version leaked anyway. In hindsight, the clash highlighted cultural shifts in discourse, from polite restraint to bold confrontation. Cliff returned home, unwinding with music, vowing to choose appearances more carefully. Denise blogged about the experience, emphasizing growth from discomfort. The paragraph captures the immediate fallout, detailing reactions from all sides of the panel's scramble, audiences divide, and media's frenzy, illustrating how one heated moment can ripple into widespread discussion, forever etching this as a pivotal Loose Women episode in entertainment lore. In the aftermath of Cliff Richard being kicked off Loose Women following his explosive clash with Denise Welch, the shocking TV drama continued to unfold across media platforms, sparking debates and analyses that extended far beyond the studio walls. ITV issued an official apology for the discomfort caused, praising both parties' contributions while promising more balanced discussions in future. Cliff, in a follow-up interview with a friendly outlet, elaborated on his side, stressing the importance of mutual respect in conversations and how the incident reminded him of past media trials. Denise, appearing on other shows, defended her approach as authentic, sharing that she reached out privately to Cliff for reconciliation, though details remained confidential. Fans and critics alike dissected the event. Tabloids splashed headlines like Cliff's stormy exit and Denise's daring stand, while podcasts hosted panels debating generational clashes and celebrity culture. Social media metrics showed millions of views on clips, with memes proliferating as some portraying Cliff as a stoic hero, others Denise as a fearless truth-teller. The Loose Women team addressed it in the next episode, with Kay reflecting on live TV's unpredictability and committing to better guest preparations. Ratings remained elevated, boosting the show's profile, but internally, protocols were reviewed to prevent similar escalations. Cliff's album sales saw a slight bump from the publicity, proving the adage of no bad press, while Denise's book on mental health gained renewed interest. Public figures weighed in, fellow musicians supported Cliff's privacy plea, activists backed Denise's openness advocacy. The incident inspired think pieces on fame's evolution, privacy versus transparency, and the role of daytime TV in societal dialogues. Months later, Cliff and Denise reportedly met amicably at a charity event, exchanging pleasantries and laughing off the drama, symbolizing forgiveness. Viewers reflected on the raw humanity displayed, appreciating the unfiltered glimpse into personalities under pressure. The paragraph wraps the narrative, exploring long-term impacts from personal growth to cultural conversations, ensuring the story's legacy as a cautionary yet captivating tale of when polite chat turns into unforgettable confrontation, leaving an indelible mark on British television history.